Bobo and Charlie sat in the four-wheel drive at the reception of the caravan park. Dano had gone into the office to check in. A man with a long hillbilly beard approached and began to talk to Bobo and Charlie. "How's it going?" Charlie replied, "We're going on holiday." The hillbilly fellow looked at Charlie and said, "Fair thinking, mate. You've come to the right place." Bobo reached out his hand and introduced himself. "Nice to meet you. I'm called Bobo, and this is Charlie." "I know. Dano told me about you. I'm known as Ocker the Clocker in these parts." Dano returned and went over to Ocker and said, "G'day, Ocker. You all set for tomorrow?" "No worries. All right, mate. See you at the track, huh?" Ocker walked off, and as Dano got back into the silver four-wheel drive, with the three bikes attached to the roof, Bobo and Charlie then got out and looked around at all their new strange surroundings. A couple of young lads on skateboards made their way past, followed by two people riding on horseback. Then a small group of people from various cultures walked past, with fishing rods and eskies in their hands. Bobo looked at Charlie and nodded. Charlie stood there, motionless, and Dano came over and he said, "I'm so glad you two could come down under for a visit. So tell me, what do you think of the place so far?" Bobo replied, "Well, to tell you the truth, it's the strangest place on earth I've ever seen." Charlie nodded his head in agreement. It's like so strange, Dano. Everything." There was a silence for a while. No one spoke a word, until suddenly a couple of kangaroos hopped from the bush and landed right in front of Charlie and Bobo, which made Charlie take off in fear. "He thinks they're big rats, Dano." "Better go and get him. You get lost round here," said Dano. They both went searching for Charlie around the caravan park. "Come on, Charlie, climb down. We'll go and grab a few burgers. Unless you want to try some of those wizardy grubs, mate, that live up the tree there." Charlie let out a high-pitched scream and fell down to the ground. What you say, Dano?" Bobo looked at Dano. "What's a witchetty grub?" Dano replied, "Good old Aussie tucker, mate. You'll soon get used to it. After we eat some possum stew, we can go for a walk in the scrub. And if you like, maybe we can see some of the Aussie night creatures that live in these parts here. Tell you, there's no place on earth like it." "Sounds great," said Bobo. "No worries, mate," said Dano. "I've had enough and I want to go home." Dano gave a wink to Bobo and he said, "Gonna be dark in about 5 minutes. Most of the night creatures will be coming out of their dens and hideaways." Charlie and Bobo went inside with Ocker and Dano, and they stood with 40 others who had come to watch the rat races. Bookmakers stood on chairs, offering odds for each rat in the race, and money was being waged as odds were put up on a board. Bobo and Charlie had a bet on Hurry Scurry, as did Ocker and Dano. There were 10 plastic tubes running along, side by side, for the entire length and breadth of the shed. Each runner tube had a number that corresponded to the rat that wore a little coloured vest with the same number on it. And now it was almost time for the rat race to begin. All the rats were now under starters' orders, and after the count of 3, all the barriers came up and off went the rats. Hurry Scurry drove to the front and went around the first bend. Charlie began to shout and scream, "Come on, Hurry Scurry, come on!" Hurry Scurry never looked back. It finished well ahead of all the other 9 rats. As Bobo and Charlie waited in the queue to pick up their winnings, Ocker gave them a wink and said, "Welcome to the rat race, mate." The end. "We're going to have a look at the rat race with Ocker the Clocker," Bobo replied. "Well, that's a rat race with no winner, Dano." Charlie looked a little worried, and he said, Dano, do you mean the kind of rat that squeaks and has 4 legs and sharp teeth and a long wiggly tail?" Dano replied, "That's right, cuz, except They're not just your normal rat. Nah, they're water rat. They mostly live around Blackwater Creek. Ocker's been hunting them for years. He really knows a good one when he sees one. Charlie was having trouble breathing now and sort of in mild shock. Bobo said, "That sounds like an interesting day, Dano. Day at the rat races. I've never been there before. Does it get a big crowd?" Dano replied, "Yeah, mate. They come from all round to see them run. This time Ocker has won. A real flyer. He calls her Hurry Scurry. She's in the first race at Sandon Racetrack. That's the rat racetrack. And he reckons she's good enough to take out the race. He's been feeding her up on yabbies for weeks, and running her at night along long leads in the sand." Charlie was breaking out in a sweat and looking very uncomfortable. Dano, what's a yabby?" Dano replied, "Well, some here call him Crotchy, Crawdad, Craybo, or even Lobby, and they're come in different colours: black, blue, white, brown, red, green, or mixed combinations. They're little crawfish with crab-like pincers. Look, there's one. About to grab your big toe, cuz.